Oh, hello. I didn't realise you popped in. So I'm here today to tell you about a collaboration. We are doing, me and my fellow fragrance reviewer friends are doing a collaboration on the 7 virtues. So as you know, or you may not know, we did do a 7 deadly sins collaboration. And if you haven't seen that, then what are you doing? So do go and check that out. I will link my video in the link below. And if you check that description, you'll find links to all of my lovely friends and their sins video. What am I doing though? Why am I in the bath? Well, we all know that cleanliness is next to godliness. So I thought I would introduce this video in the bath where I'm squeaky clean and virtuous. So today's video, I will take you through all the virtues, which are basically the opposite of the sins. And this is a premiere, so hopefully you're watching this for the first time with everyone else. And you'll find that after this video is finished, the next video will start and we'll let you know where that's going to be located in the live chat. If you're watching this at a later date, then sadly you missed out, and I am sorry. So to find out what fragrances I've chosen for the 7 virtues, then just keep on watching. Oh, hello, you again. So here I am, and now you can see who I really am. Yes, that's right, I'm an angel. The first sin that I'm going to tell you about is chastity. Oh yes, chastity. It means crossing your legs, darlings. It means refraining from the carnal act, which of course is something that I take very, very seriously. Do angels wear knickers? I'll let you guess. The fragrance for chastity I've chosen Pure Poison by Dior. And the reason why, let's put a little dab on. The reason why Pure Poison is the perfect fragrance for chastity is because it smells like virginity. In fact, it smells like frigidity. This is the fragrance for a bride who does not want to consummate her marriage. Very sharp, cold white florals for the opening, very clean, sterile, not sexy at all. Although on my skin, to me, Dior Poison, it smells like a bouquet of very subdued, clean white florals. It smells like magnolia, like soap. There's a hint of warmth. It's not all cold, it's not all steel. There's a hint of warmth in here. But it's a mere tease. It's a tease. Darling, no one's getting laid when Pure Poison is about. My next virtue is temperance. Temperance, I hear you ask, what is that? It's the act of self-restraint, moderation. Now, I like to think that I act in moderation in everything that I do. I am very self-restrained, of course. However, there was a time when I was so self-restrained, so self-moderating, and even I have to admit that I almost struggled being so virtuous. The fragrance I've chosen to represent this is Embers from Tioni Reinfeld. This is an all-natural perfume that to me smells a little bit like cherries and almonds, a marzipan-like feel. It has the most beautiful vanilla tincture in here, vanilla accord in here is like nothing I have ever smelled. When I sampled this perfume, I wanted to buy it immediately. I wanted it. I wanted the bottle and I wanted it now. But I was an angel and I held back for a couple of months because I was being moderate with my finances, moderate with my purchasing, and I wanted to make a little room in my collection before I treated myself to this full bottle of Embers. Another way in which I am self-restrained is that I don't wear this as often as I want. This is a 30ml bottle. That is not a great deal of perfume. So I am very moderate in how many sprays I apply and how often. If you'd like to know a little bit more about this fragrance, you could always check out my review. So on to the next virtue. The next virtue is charity. Oh yes, charity, the act of giving. In particular, giving to someone or people in need, or even animals. And the fragrance I've chosen to represent this is and perfumes and fragrances. And the fragrance I've picked is Bean. Hashtag Bean Sprayers. Bean is a very rich tonka bean fragrance. Now I've chosen this perfume because when And launched, they gave every single penny of the proceeds from this perfume to a community in need. And furthermore, And fragrances over the Christmas period, that means now until Christmas, they are giving 20% of their sales to another charitable cause, helping out a community that rely on the cultivation and sale of frankincense, helping them to produce more hardy frankincense and therefore help their people to survive a really tough time. So, And perfumes, as a brand, get the virtue for charity, but this particular one is a very rich tonka with a hint of mint. It's very unusual. It's deep, dark and mysterious. If you love a tonka, then you will almost certainly love Bean. Also, do angels do this? I'll let you know. Now for my next virtue. The virtue is diligence. Now, do you know what diligence means? It means good work ethic. It means hard work. It means applying yourself, putting the time in, not giving up. And the best way I can demonstrate this to you in fragrance is with my Miss Dior collection. Here it is now for you. So I'm going to show you the original Miss Dior Sherry. This was released in 2005. And this one is very fresh and fruity in a very youthful kind of way. Has a strawberry note, but it's not a thick and syrupy strawberry. It's a fresh, light strawberry element. It has a touch of the gourmand about it, a touch of texture, a little bit of almost gritty powder, which I think is the patchouli and the musk. It's fresh, sweet, yet has a bit of depth. Now, why is this my diligence choice? It's because I was very, very diligent when I built my Miss Dior collection. I had to keep my finger on the pulse. I had to keep my eyes on the prize. And if my finger's on the pulse, then it's not on, you know. So I took my time and I paid attention and I sniped on eBay and diligently built my Miss Dior collection to where it stands today. I am angelic AF. My next virtue is kindness. Now, of course, I'm very kind. I am so kind. I'm dripping in kindness. But I don't have a perfume that's made by me. But I know someone who is so kind, almost as kind as me. And that person is Liz Moores. She has a perfume brand and it's called Papillon Artisan Perfumery. Here is her fragrance, aptly named Angelique. This one I'm wearing at the moment because I'm an angel. And Angelique is a powdery iris and mimosa scent. Has a little bit of earthiness to keep it grounded, because whilst angels have wings, they must also remain grounded and humble. Liz Moores is grounded and humble, by the way, but that's a different virtue. Liz Moores is kind. She is kind to animals. She loves animals. She has a menagerie of animals at her house. She has a brood of children, so I couldn't use her for chastity. She is very, very sweet and kind to everyone that comes into her circle, even to her online friends and her customers. If you follow her social media, you'll see exactly what I mean. But I have one story for you about Liz and kindness. Liz rescued a bumblebee and she built it a little home inside her house, and she nurtured it and cared for it until sadly the bee eventually passed away. But Liz gave her time, effort and love, despite being a busy lady with children, animals and a business to run. She put that time, love, kindness to that bee. And that's just a small example of the kindness of Liz Moores from Papillon Perfumery. And if you want to smell like an angel, then I would suggest you try Angelique. You could smell like me. Ooh, yeah, yeah, a little patience, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's Guns N' Roses, but you might not quite recognise it. My next virtue is patience, and The fragrances I've chosen for Patience are, bit of ASMR for you. We have 4,160 Tuesdays, the waft from the loft. I have here the eau de parfum and the parfum. Why have I chosen this for Patience? Well, I am obviously a very patient person, being an angel. We have to have patience. And when you do a crowd-funded event, you also require patience, especially with perfume, because perfume takes time from the creative concept to the final product. There's maceration time, there's lots of different moderations to go through to get things right. One tiny little difference with a material can make a whole new perfume. Perfume making is an extremely time-consuming business. So to back something from the start before the process begins requires patience. The waft from the loft was a crowd-funded exercise between the wafts from the loft and Sarah from 4,160 Tuesdays. I decided to back the campaign, and I knew that it would be at least 6 months until the product arrived through my door. But then COVID came along, and COVID delayed the process even more. So the backers had to all have a virtue of patience, and it was worth it. It's a fantastic fragrance. It's a very outdoorsy and natural smelling to me. Smells like being in the woods. There's a little bit of earthiness, there's some greenery, there's some incense, a tiny hint of floral, a tiny little bit of sweetness. Really interesting fragrance and well worth the wait. Waft from the loft. So as you know, I'm very humble, really humble. I don't rate myself at all. And humbleness is an explanation for the word humility. The last virtue here that we're talking about is humility. And I've got the perfect person and the perfect fragrance for you. The most humble person in the fragrance community, the fragrance world, is Peter Carter. Now he is going to hate me for saying this because he's so bloody humble. But Peter is the epitome of humble. The perfume that I've got from Centauri Perfumes is Dendera. This was my favourite from the line when it first launched. And this is a resinous incense fragrance with a little bit of sweetness, a hint of rose, plenty of very dry spices. It's a very grounded fragrance, which is what Peter is really. He's very grounded. Peter is kind. He doesn't have a bad word to say about anyone. And he's absolutely diligent in his brand. He launched his brand himself. He did everything himself. He put his life savings into his brand. I could find a reason to explain why Peter has every single virtue within him. But I'm getting bored now and time's running on. So Centauri's Dendera is the perfume I've chosen. It's a very exotic fragrance and has been created by a very humble young man. So that is it. That's my virtues. I hope you enjoyed them. So please do now check out the other videos from my collaborators and we'll see what perfumes they choose for the 7 virtues. Don't want the door though. Oh, fuck. Oh. Angels don't swear. My wing keeps slipping. Bloody wings. Bloody wings.